Welcome to Columbros, the podcast where bros talk about Columbo. It's our Columbo rewatch podcast, and on this episode we have Double Shock, starring as always Peter Falk, and Martin Landau is our special guest star, or guest stars. We'll get into all that. I'm Columbro Jeff Grubb with Columbro Mike Minotti. How are you doing, Columbro?
I am doing great. This is it. This is the end of the second season.
Yes.
We've done it. Look at us go. Yay.
We made it. Yeah, we're chugging along here. It's like we do this show infrequently, and yet we are still just always making progress. I guess that's how things work. If you keep doing things one step at a time, eventually you'll get somewhere. End of season 2. In fact, let's go ahead and read the summary from Columbo File for this episode. As always, shouts out to Columbo File, an excellent resource for all things Columbo. About Double Shock, they write, in a series marked by twists and turns, Columbo Season 2 saved its biggest surprise to last, serving up an actual whodunit with feuding identical twin brothers vying for contention as the lieutenant's number one suspect. A double shock indeed. Well, we'll kind of get into the full recap here in a second. Before we do that, though, Mike, how are you feeling about getting through the second season of Columbo?
I think it's a really strong season. Perhaps one of the best. There's a lot of classic moments there. Of course, Stitch and Crime is a big favorite of mine, but Etude in Black is fun.
Yep.
I liked the Most Dangerous Match, the chess one.
I did too.
Before this, and we'll talk about it. But I think this is another pretty strong episode here to end the season on.
It's at least different,
super established.
Yes, it's different and fun, and yes, we'll get into it. All right, we're gonna do the recap, but first, some messages. Double Shock. All right, here we go. As I mentioned, Martin Landau is in this episode, and he kind of kicks things off by holding a food mixer. He's in a basement or something, and he plugs in a handheld hand mixer, just like, the one with the two little whirly birds on it, and you press the trigger and it just goes. Maybe back then it didn't even have a trigger. Maybe you just plugged it in and it started going. That seemed to be the case here. He does that, and then he drops it into a vat of water, which electrifies the water. Boy, I wonder what he's planning to do with that. Cut to a fencing match, where we see Martin Landau as Dexter Paris, we learn. He walks into a room where his uncle is fencing with his lawyer. They're kind of it looks like they're in his gym, in his house. They're having fun, just kind of, I don't know. It seems like they're one of their ways to kill time. His uncle, Clifford Paris, so it's Dexter Paris is Martin Landau's character. Clifford Paris is his uncle. His uncle says that he wishes Dexter would have brought his brother Norman Paris. We're establishing early on that there's a brother. Apparently, Dexter and Norman are estranged, though. We got a lot of exposition here where it's like the lawyer's like, I don't get why you two are always fighting. And Dexter's like, nothing could ever repair the damage in our relationship. Apparently, I wrote that. And Clifford is also getting married. So there's a lot happening. Apparently, he's getting married that day. People keep saying it's your wedding night, which I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they are getting ready for a wedding. Maybe he's eloping because he's an older gentleman, and it turns out the lady he's marrying is much younger. So maybe they're not having a big fancy wedding. I know, shocking. It's disgusting. I don't.
It's supposed to be that wedding that Jan's not sure is happening.
It sounds very similar to that. Yeah, they've got a whole honeymoon planned and all that. But I gotta say, Mike, I was pretty excited to see Martin Landau. That's a guy I like quite a bit.
That's a pretty big name, pretty big guest star to get for this one. I mean, what do you associate him with? I think of North by Northwest.
Certainly,
that
yes.
one.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, huh?
Mission Impossible is where, is definitely what I think about. But he's a character actor, right? He's a one of the bigger character actors, but he's certainly one that I just think of as this guy that could pop up in any movie. So seeing him here, it's like, oh yeah, this would have been his heyday for sure. Although I will
put Bela Lugosi and Ed Wood, right?
Yes, he's fantastic in Ed Wood. God, he's just great in everything. He's not the person I was most excited to see in this episode. I'll talk about that here very soon. Let's see.
Yeah, I know who it was.
Okay, well we'll see. We'll see if you know who it was. Hang on. Let's see if there's anything else from the scene we need to establish. I don't think so. The wedding's happening. They're happening later that night, all that stuff. Okay. We're going to cut to Dexter baking some sweets with Mrs. Peck, who is the housekeeper and cook for Clifford. And she's also from the movie Avalanche that was in the 13th season of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Me and Steph.
Wait, is this who it was?
This is who it was.
Who you're excited
Miss
for?
Peck. I'm looking at this lady.
Wrong.
I'm like, where do I know her from? I know her from something. And eventually it like clicked. And it's like, yeah, me and Steph watch Avalanche on Mystery Science Theater 3000 at least once every winter. And she is like, she like steals the movie because she's the mom who's just there to be drunk, and it's like some snowy resort, and she's always drinking like a tropical drink and going aloha, and yeah, it's me and Steph say that to each other a lot. But yeah, she is the housekeeper. She is the mistress of the house. She has taken care of Clifford for years, as well as the two nephews, Dexter and Norman. And so she feels protective, and she does not approve of Clifford marrying a younger lady and all that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, and she kind of like her and Dexter kind of going back and forth about that a little bit. And you kind of get the sense that she is going to be a stick in the mud about everything that happens on this episode. And boy, is she, although most of that wrath will be felt by Columbo himself. So yeah, we'll talk about that here more in a second. Let's see. Okay, Clifford and his lawyer come upstairs after they were done fencing. The lawyer leaves pretty quickly, and Clifford reassures Mrs. Peck about her security, the security of her position as mistress of the house. Basically like, oh, don't worry, you're going to be sticking around here for forever. You'll be around even after I'm gone. Clifford goes upstairs to get cleaned up. Mrs. Peck sets the house alarm. There's like just a security system. She just switches it on. Peck then checks the time and turns on the TV. She gets engrossed in her show while someone is apparently sneaking through the house and turns the security system back off. And it's Dexter, or at least, we think it might be. And in fact, Clifford thinks it is, as Dexter enters the bathroom where Clifford's getting cleaned up. And Martin Landau tells Clifford that he forgot to give him his wedding present, which is the mixer. He plugs it in and gives it to Clifford by dropping it in the water and electrocuting him to death. Oh my God. Do
you also just enjoy how, boy, that's how mixers used to look like, huh?
Yes.
I clunky they were.
I remember having one of those in my house, like as a kid, looking just like that, big and clunky. Yes. And brown or tan or like a color between.
Was brown or like, it's like, well, it's mostly white, but just enough yellow to make it, a little piss color.
Just a little bit of piss in there to give it a bit of flavor. It made me feel a little nostalgic, but also like, man, why did everything look like that back then? And yeah, also, I really do think it just turned on by plugging it in, which is crazy. I don't think it had an on-off switch. I'm like, that can't be right, but I suppose maybe it was back then. It's like, yeah, plug it in, use it, and then when you're done, unplug it. That's as good as an on-off switch. It's weird.
Why not?
So yeah, anyway, Clifford's charged to death by the mixer there in the water.
What a shock!
What?
But how is it a double shock?
Oh yeah, we'll wait to find out how it's a double shock. This also causes electrocution causes the power to go out, which causes Mrs. Peck's TV to turn off, and she was into her show. One of the highlight of the episodes is their fake TV shows on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I love is that they're all hospital and police procedures.
Yeah.
Just like today, so nothing has changed.
Yep.
It's all the same.
And
it's like it could have been a parody of network TV now.
Yes, it's like, you're right. It's 100% relevant to today, and the style of writing. What are we going to do? I don't know. What can anyone do? And they had that in both of the shows. It's like
super melodramatic.
She's locked in. She just can't wait to see what happens. I love Mrs. Peck. All right, so let's see here. This caused the power to go off. She notices that it really bothers her. So she's like going to stand up and bang on the TV. But meanwhile, Landau. We're starting to get the idea like something more is happening here. But Martin Landau's character turns the security system back on and then leaves, or we don't really see exactly what happens to him, but he seems to disappear. Then we cut to later when Lisa Chambers, who is played by Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, Really just Julie Newmar, but that's where I know her most reference from. But that's Catwoman from Batman.
That's what I thought you'd be excited to see. It's the original Catwoman from the Adam West Batman show. And by the way, still alive, 92 years old.
Really?
God bless her. Yes,
That's incredible.
She reprised her role as Catwoman in some of those like direct to DVD animated films.
Hell yeah.
Like Batman versus Two-Face in 2017, which I think even like Adam West was in like that. Yeah, really neat. And the whole time, I'm like, boy, she's familiar looking to me. And then, yeah, okay, that was Catwoman.
Yeah,
sure.
it was like I had Columbo file opened up and I saw the Julie Newmar and that Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. That's a old movie about Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo as drag queens traveling across the country. And I was like, what the fuck does Julie Newmar have to do with this? And apparently they have a picture of Julie Newmar that's signed that says Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, signed Julie Newmar. Because apparently Julie Newmar has like this like a godlike status among the drag queen community. I learned all this tonight when I was watching this.
That.
Yeah, it's like because she's glamorous and all this stuff.
It's fabulous.
Yes, and she's fabulous and she has this strong attitude, and it was that people like that.
And how come Batman doesn't dance anymore?
I know you love that. So anyway, Lisa shows up in a cab to pick up Clifford. It's their wedding night. It's time to go get the proceedings on. Miss Peck says that he's upstairs in the bath. They go to look. He isn't. Lisa then remembers that she gave him a new stationary bike and that he is, of course, being the fitness nut that he is, probably downstairs using it. And she's right. He's using it, but he's also not because he's fucking dead. He's just
oh no.
And it's like moving
stuff.
Yeah, it's like he looks all awkward and funny. It's a weird scene, but yeah, she was shocked because she wasn't expecting that. Of course,
is that the double shock?
There was a shock and then a shock again.
Oh my god! And also the twins thing.
Yeah, maybe the twins thing might be a big part of that. Anyway, we're gonna cut to paramedics taking the body away, and here is where we get our Columbo, who just looks like real dog shit. Like, this is top tier disheveled Peter Falk. It was like stunning how disheveled he looked.
Yeah, he was sleepy. I get it. I get sleepy too.
Yes, very sleepy. Apparently he was called out of bed and he's like, wait, what are we doing here? How did he die? It's like a heart attack. He said, well, homicide. What's going on? But apparently Lisa was crying to the cops that everyone is after the old man's money. So homicide got brought in to satisfy her. Columbo notes that the old man has a pretty young fiance, so he's already kind of like being like, all right, let me sniff around here. Who's got motive? Cut to Columbo is in the gym getting info on how the body was discovered. But he's pretty zonked out still, pretty sweepy still. He begins letting his stogie ash fall on the floor, and Mrs. Peck just hates this. She hates him. She hates everything about this gross slob, and she screams at Columbo as he just makes things worse by smudging the ash into the ground and breaking stuff. It's top tier Columbo buffoonery.
Right, you're right, yeah, and the Mrs. Peck Columbo relationship is a key component and another highlight of this episode. She just Columbo has a charm to him that often works with people. People find his buffoonery and his slobbiness charming. Mrs. Peck does not. Mrs. Peck finds it greatly upsetting.
Mrs. Peck, who just likes the prestige TV of her day, was not satisfied with anything he was doing. Yeah.
No, wasn't having it.
Hang on real quick. I messed up the camera. I'm gonna fix that real quick. I can do that right here. There we go. There's
look at that.
Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that.
It's weird.
All
a little bit extra wee.
There we go there, and then I do this. There we go.
Hey.
Thank you, Christian.
Bring it back.
All right. And all right. So let's see here. So Columbo's like, okay, well, I'm starting to wake up a little bit. Let's start asking around a little bit after he deals with Mrs. Peck. And he gets to talk to Dexter, who has returned to the house. And as Columbo is upstairs cleaning himself in the bathroom. And while he's doing that, Columbo, he's kind of just waking up, becoming clear-eyed for the first time of the day, really. And he starts looking around the bathroom and he notices something in the mirror that the towel set that is on the rack right next to the sink that has 3 towels, on the one behind him that he sees in the reflection only has the 2 hand towels. So he looks in the hamper and he finds what appears to be a recently used towel. And then he goes and checks the bathtub, and he seems to have noticed some moisture in there as well. And we do know, of course, Clifford was recently taking a bathroom, so Columbo's begun to notice this. And as I mentioned, Columbo gets to talk to Dexter, and Dexter's like, well, what is homicide doing here? Wasn't it just a heart attack? And Columbo's like, yeah, you know what? I think I did notice something. And of course, things are going to go sideways with Dexter here pretty quickly. I want to ask you at this point, though, Mike, what was your expectations for what kind of killer of Martin Landau's character was going to be? After like so much experience watching the show now, we can kind of begin to put these guys into different categories. Where were you slotting him at this point?
And I'll tell you, this was my second time watching this one. So it's interesting, the second one, because this is one that on my first watch, I was a little confused, I think. And it's intentionally like that. This one is leaving out key details when you are watching the murder. Things aren't quite as clear as they seem. So yeah, and I was the first time I was a little bit confused about it, exactly what's going on, why they staged the murder the way that they were. But it was all kind of becoming satisfying. Columbo immediately noticing the wet towel, almost kind of stumbling into it. He should not really necessarily have been in that bathroom. At least yet.
So let's see here. So he's talking to Dexter. He's also talking to Miss Peck, and he's holding the towel. Like he's just holding the towel in his hand. And Dexter mentions it. Mrs. Peck mentions it, and he's like, "Look, this towel was recently used, but he was downstairs working out, and everyone they're still not sure what he's getting at." And Mrs. Peck gets frustrated, and she's like, "Are you trying to imply I'm not taking care of the house, that I would leave a towel in there? I replaced all the towels at 4 p.m. today." Like making it very clear to Columbo that he must have just been taking a bath, essentially. So Columbo's about to explain like why he is like thinks the towel is interesting when another officer comes up and says, "Hey, Columbo, do you want an autopsy?" And Columbo goes, "Yes, I do want an autopsy." And this freaks Dexter out. He's like, "No, I won't authorize that. This is a heart attack. Why are you causing problems for us?" But it's Columbo's call, and Columbo wants the autopsy. Columbo also learns that the security system was set at 7:30 p.m., just like it has been every night. It's kind of part of the routine. Dexter and Columbo then go to the gym. Dexter wants to know why Columbo's ordering the autopsy. He's still kind of on that. And Columbo says he's not sure that Clifford died due to a heart attack. And if they can go up to Clifford's bathroom, Columbo will show Dexter why he thinks that. They go up to the bathroom. There's a wet soap bar that Columbo shows him, but Dexter isn't impressed. And he's like, everyone takes baths, bro. Like, what's the big deal here? This
especially
really
after working out, right?
Especially after working out. He was
just fencing.
So the other officer comes to tell Columbo that there is no sign of a break-in at the doors and windows, but there is a footprint outside Mrs. Peck's window. And the officer says whoever it was wasn't wearing shoes, and it looks like he had flat feet. Dexter says, "You don't think Mrs. Peck did it? She was the only one in the house." And Columbo goes, well, what about the flat feet? And Dexter says, "Isn't that a cop thing? Like, don't cops have flat feet?" And Columbo is basically like, "I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's talk about our feet. Look at my feet. Let's compare feet, bro."
Yeah.
Let's do that thing where bros compare feet.
Not his most subtle move, and Dexter, to his credit, has not fallen for that one. He's like, I do have flat feet, all right?
I'll just save you time.
This is insulting.
Yep.
Right. So, that part is out there. Okay, Columbo got the info he wanted, I suppose.
Yep, exactly. Dexter, he says that like he's got flat feet. He also clarified right away in the same phrase here that he stands to inherit $3 million alongside his brother Norman, if Clifford is to die, especially if he's to die before the wedding were to go through. And then Columbo kind of just says it. So why would someone exercise, take a bath, and then exercise again? Which is basically what is suggested happened here, because he was fencing, went upstairs to clean himself up, used the towel, and then was found dead on his exercise bike. All right, and now we get the twin, and it is just an identical twin, also played by Martin Landau. And I'll say early on, Mike, I think they handled the filming of the twin situation really well. I thought it was believable and well done.
Yeah, it's a little cute, but they did
Oh, of course.
a good job with it. I do love, like, gosh, old TV. It's like, they're like, wouldn't it be neat if twins were real? Because they always just had one actor play twins, right? They never actually seem to ever hire twins to do these
this
things.
fantastical idea of twins.
Right. So it's like, yeah, sure. Are twins more prominent now? I feel like you never hear about, like, 13th century twins. You think that would have been notable back then?
Was it like a left-handed thing where it's like twins have like some sort of satanic energy around them that people?
Oh, were they killing all the twins?
Maybe they were killing the twins. Yeah, I don't know. I bet part of it is like, oh, I can't have 2 kids. I'm a medieval peasant. We like this is bad
no.
for us.
Oh, it's like the sad video I watched with the stork like throwing the runt of the litter off the nest.
Yeah, exactly, Mike.
Oh no. Okay.
All right, so yeah, like I said.
Sorry, one more tangent. Is that a thing about cops having flat feet? Have you ever heard that? Is that a 70s idiom?
Yes, I do remember that. Like I was like, oh yeah, what? But I was like trying to place exactly what the idiom is. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Flatfoot cop is a slang term for a police officer, particularly one who spends a lot of time on foot patrolling their beats. I guess the assumption is that they're on their feet and walking so much that they get flat feet.
That's what I assumed. I was wondering if there was more to it than that. Okay, so
maybe they used to have bad shoes. Apparently,
yeah, this is before Nike. All right, so like I said, enter the twin. Who thinks an autopsy is a great idea, and this one's kind of the way that they're going to separate these 2 different Martin Landaus is there's the one who's kind of footloose and fancy free, and he kind of wears his shirt unbuttoned at the top and dresses a little bit more stylish or to the time, and then this other one, this one we're just meeting now, Norman. He is going to be always wearing a tie and a suit and looks he's stuck up a little bit. That's everyone basically says so. Anyway, so he thinks an autopsy is a great idea. And let's see, this is where at Norman's bank, apparently, they're in a vault. That's where Columbo is talking to him. And I think it's already just trying to establish this is the more responsible of these 2 brothers. And again, he thinks an autopsy would be fine. And he says, Norman then dazzles Columbo with some intellect and makes a case for why it probably wasn't him, and therefore could very well be instead Dexter. Norman is wealthy.
He's like, I'm already rich.
Yes.
I'm already wealthy. If I wanted money, I would just embezzle like a normal millionaire, right? Or
He's
whatever.
Like, that would be easier. I don't need to kill my uncle. I could just embezzle. That would be a lot less work and a lot less hassle. But Norman's busy, and he's got a business trip. He's got to go to San Francisco right away. His flight leaves in 45 minutes. So the Columbo's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Lisa Chambers, who is the fiance. And he's going to go talk to her at her apartment where she's doing crazy stretches, crazy cat-like stretches, Mike.
She's so flexible. Gosh, Columbo has the line here at one point. He's like, oh, I'll be with you in a moment. And he says, okay, it's all right. I'd like to watch.
Yes. And it's like, mostly not creepy, but still kind of like, yeah.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah, I mean, look, they were definitely be like, this is our sexy character,
yes,
right?
Oh, for sure, like, yes.
We know you all like her because she's Catwoman, and here she is. Look at her legs, and I'm like, okay.
Yep, and she's a pretty lady for sure. And I wrote down here that once he starts talking to her, she is gooped to the eyeballs. She's got new age, just bullshit spewing out of her like right away. She starts talking about like knowing her body and how much Clifford knew bodies and stuff like that. And Columbo's like, what's happening? He's just like, he couldn't like keep up with her.
And you get the sense like, oh, this person like is not actually a gold digger. She's not actually just marrying this old man for the money. She is actually just kind of weird, and like, I have a spiritual connection with this random old millionaire dude. I'm like, oh, okay.
But as Columbo's asking just a couple of questions, nothing too like pointed or anything like that. It certainly does not seem like Columbo thinks she is a suspect, and of course the wedding didn't happen. She's not married to him. She does not stand to inherit his millions. So there's every reason to think she should not be too defensive, but she is. She gets really testy with Columbo pretty quickly. And basically he's like, hey, if I ask you to leave, do you have to leave? And he does. And I was like, oh, okay, definitely more happening here. I think this is what you were saying earlier, like the confusion. Like I was like, oh, this is the first time. Again, this is the first time we've seen a whodunit in this in Columbo, where we actually don't know who did it. So I'm like, oh wait, should I be paying attention to even more stuff than normal? Are there going to be more red herrings than normal?
Yeah,
that are here
it's
to
like,
trick me?
it's like, we know one of the twins put a blender thing in the bathtub. We know that happened. But
Yes.
it's like, why is she acting so suspicious? Like, which twin was it? Are they both in on it? What exactly is going on here? This scene is very interesting because it is a turn you're not expecting. You think that Lisa's going to be mostly kind of warm or maybe confused. Instead, she's immediately like just tells him to leave, which honestly is maybe the smart thing. Sometimes a lot of people
Yeah.
do talk to Columbo too much when they are obviously potential suspects.
don't
in
have
these
to,
things.
yeah.
They should have a lawyer. Yeah. But there is something, there's something off-putting about it in a way too, just the way she's acting and the way she seems so terrified all of a sudden.
This next scene's pretty fun, and I didn't write it down, and I remember hearing it earlier, but apparently Dexter, the one twin, has a cooking show on TV. I mean, when they were talking about that, I didn't think that was a serious thing. They're like, oh, you have your cooking show on TV here, but no.
Because it's not very important. And it's also weird because that seems pretty prestigious, or at least pretty nice. Everyone's like, this fucking bum.
Yeah, this schlutz, whatever. This guy doesn't have 2 pennies to rub together. It's like, he's on TV.
This is before Emerald, I think, really paved the way.
Maybe.
Brought respect to that profession, I suppose.
Well, he does, and he's like, when he's talking to the audience, he's like, okay, ladies. Like, it's like very clearly like just for one portion of the audience, like women at home. And it's like, okay, I guess they would have thought cooking shows only could have been for women back then. Yeah, so it was a little weird. Anyway, Columbo's in the audience.
I think the insinuation shows everybody thought he was really hot. All the women,
right,
and they liked watching it because he's such a sexy cook, man.
Yes, of course, Martin Landau is a sexual icon. Columbo's there, and he gets taken onto the stage to be the average downtrodden American husband and help cook with Dexter. And Columbo's frazzled, and he seems a little bit embarrassed and shy. And Dexter's in his element. Dexter asks Columbo how to separate yolks from the whites, and Columbo doesn't know how to do that. And I gotta say, if I was on the spot like that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to do the thing there." I would have forgot too. I'll point out, I think Peter Falk's acting to be embarrassed, like his what would it be like to be just someone who isn't normally on TV to suddenly be on TV. I was really impressed by it. It was very believable. His like constantly going every time he was asked a question. It was cute and clever.
Right. It's like exactly right. It's not like an actor like making much of the scene. It's like, oh no, this is actually what a shy person who can be in his element and cannot be in his element. And that's why this character brought him up there. It was he is teasing Columbo, but he knew this would be out of his element. And it totally is. I believe these two were friends, Peter Falk and
Martin Landau.
Martin Landau. So and they were having a good time with this. This was kind of improv-y. They were trying to get a rise out of each other a bit through this as well. This is a bit of a popular scene amongst Columbo fans because it is just it's silly, it's interesting, and it is like well done.
Yep, you can tell they're having a good time, and that definitely comes through. The show ends though. Columbo drags Dexter into a long conversation about how his wife sucks at cooking, or at least cooking Martin Landau stuff. So he's like, maybe it's the equipment. Like, is there like a hand mixer or something that I could get my hands on that would really help? Dexter gets annoyed. He gets that what's happening here. So eventually Columbo notes that Clifford definitively died of electrocution. So the autopsy came back. It wasn't a coronary. It was a shock to the system. And definitively now they know it was electrocution. And Dexter asks, was it from the bike? No, Columbo had that checked out by an electrician. There's no chance that could have electrocuted him. So Columbo says that maybe it was an appliance like a mixer getting dropped in the bathtub while Clifford was in there. And hey, Dexter's staff just told Columbo that Dexter ordered 2 new mixers in the last week. So Dexter gets frustrated again, runs over and grabs both mixers and shows them to Columbo. And I'm like, here, what do you like? No, of course I didn't do this. Dexter, let's see here. Oh, he then begins fuming because he bets that Norman put Columbo onto this line of thinking. Columbo denies that. But Dexter then perfectly emulates the way that Norman previously talked to Columbo about Dexter, being like, oh, he's a dilettante and chasing ladies and stuff. And that's all stuff that Norman said about Dexter. And so that makes Columbo go, oh, was I being manipulated? There's a chance here that this Dexter guy, maybe there's more to him than I thought. And maybe there's some stuff hidden under Norman that I wasn't expecting. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I thought this move in the plot here was pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Because Norman's looking relatively squeaky clean at this point, and this is when he's like, "Here, look, I'll show you what Norman's up to. You got some time here."
Right, because Columbo's like, here's the thing, like, Dexter, you're winning me over, but Norman doesn't have a motive. He's rich.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like, he made a good point about that, right? He's like, "Oh, he's so rich. Let's go see what he's up to now."
He's like, "Hey, did he mention his business trip to San Francisco?" He's like, yes, he did. He's like, all right, well, let me show you where San Francisco really is at. And as you said, Las Vegas, a specific craps table at a specific casino. I think it's like the San Francisco Lounge or something they said. Either way, yeah, he's in there and he's gambling. And Columbo's like, okay, yeah, you're good job. This is cool. And impressive, your ability to sort of emulate Norman. That's really impressive. And he's like, oh, yeah, you want to see me do it even more? And Dexter takes him over to the cage where there's a lady there who immediately recognizes him as Norman. And she's like, well, what do you want, Norman? And he's like, oh, I'm not here to beg for another line of credit. But my friend here was maybe here to spot me. And Columbo jumps in, realizing what's happening. He's like, oh, yeah, real quick, can you just tell me how much he owes before I do anything? And the lady tells him, yes, $37,500, which is probably like $75 million in today's money, I think.
Yeah, right. Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, pretty close at least.
Yeah. It's funny hearing that amount at the time. Like, that doesn't seem like an amount to kill for, but I'm like, oh, right, 70s money.
Yes, that was like probably a couple years' salary for a lot of people back then. Yeah. Dexter then takes Columbo over to the craps table, and Dexter and Norman have a big showdown at the craps table. Mike, I didn't understand. I only know poker. I don't really, as much as I. Oh, so I didn't really get what was happening here.
Yeah, it's weird, Jeff. I think I told you a story before. Somehow I learned how to play craps when I was 7 because my one buddy's dad was real divorce dad energy in a very fun way. And so for his kid's birthday party, we all learned how to play craps. So I knew how to play craps when I was very young and have since totally forgotten.
Okay.
But everyone takes turns rolling, and you basically just keep rolling until one, good thing. You keep rolling until a bad thing happens and somebody else rolls for a while.
Right.
That's what's going
on.
And
I think I gathered that they made opposite bets, and then Dexter won and Norman lost. But it was like over the line or past the line. I've never played craps in my life, so I couldn't really assess what happened there.
It's not the game you're supposed to play if you really want to win. It's not good. I think it's not good house odds or whatever they say.
Right. It's definitely against your chances of winning. Yeah. Okay. So that scene ends with it's basically Norman looking defeated a little bit. We cut to an assessment of Clifford's assets. The lawyer from earlier in the episode is there. So is Mrs. Peck. She still wants to kill Columbo. She just has her eye on him. Columbo's talking to the lawyer about Dexter and Norman. Clifford didn't know about Norman's gambling, apparently. Norman kept that secret, and Clifford was really proud of him. He also told the lawyer that Lisa Chambers was defensive. This is Columbo telling the lawyer that when he talked to Lisa Chambers, she was defensive. But the lawyer said she doesn't even know the twins all that much. Maybe she met Dexter once or twice. The lawyer then insists that Columbo consider him a suspect. Actually consider the lawyer. He's like, hey, if you're looking at everybody, look at me. The lawyer who I just found out is named Michael Hathaway. This is my note that I wrote to myself. Okay, so I'm going to start calling him Hathaway going forward now. Was at an attorney conference that night, so he couldn't kill. But he does have a slight motive because he's going to do really well managing the estate since there's no will that anyone knows about. Columbo says that Hathaway could have, of course, had Clifford killed, but he didn't put him high on the list of suspects. At this point, I was like, wait, what is happening here? Is there a bigger conspiracy that I'm not that maybe will get revealed? Is Lisa involved? Were they all involved in killing him and they just had the Martin Landau character do it on screen? I was beginning to think big things at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what was going on. Wasn't suspecting Hathaway too much. Lisa
Right.
maybe because it was just odd. Although she seems so airheady is not the word, but she seemed
Right.
a little flighty, right?
Yep.
Right, and it's like, is this a
Detached. Yeah.
murderer? I don't know. Whereas the twins, like, yeah, these two seem like jerks in
Mm-hmm.
a way. Yeah, they can maybe murder someone.
Uh, Columbo then puts out his cigar on what he thought was an ashtray, but it turns out to be an antique dish. And Mrs. Peck, who has been watching him like a hawk, just walks into the room and says, "You're a bum!" It's great stuff. She just screams it right in his face, and then like basically begs the lawyer to get rid of him. Columbo chases after her to make amends with her, so she gives him milk and health cookies. Which I gotta say, health cookies has got to be a '70s thing, right? I don't think they were using health cookies as a term in the '80s.
They probably like learned about fiber for the first
Right.
time, or like a way to like put vitamin B into a cookie a little
Yes.
bit. Like, this is good for you now.
Fortified with vitamins. Yeah, something like
exactly.
that. Anyway, they get to talking, and she finally mentions that the TV turned off while she was watching it at 8:05 p.m. during the night of the death. And she was banging on the TV, so she saw the clock. That's how she knew the exact time. She mentioned that the color is still messed up on that TV ever since the power went out. So Columbo offers to repair it. It doesn't go well. He breaks the knob off, and she immediately goes back to yelling at him. She had been really nice for like 5 minutes, and then he broke something else, and she hates him again.
She kicks him out of the house. It's
Yes.
terrible. And he's like, so great. He's like, I'm sorry. It's fine. I'll fix or repay it. You want me? I'll leave. I'm leaving. Please stop yelling. Yeah, these two are they're very funny together. There's good chemistry there.
It does feel like Columbo's like kind of met his match when it comes to Mrs. Peck in some ways. Hathaway tells Dexter that there is a will. This is a new scene here that we've cut away to. And it names Lisa Chambers as the sole beneficiary. This is kind of a bombshell for the character, and as for us watching, this is the first time we're hearing about this. And basically the will says, married or not, Lisa Chambers gets the fortune. Like, he's like, I want to make it clear, like, she was like, I don't care about the money. And he's like, I believe you, that's why I'm gonna leave you the money whether you marry me or not, because I know you're not just marrying me for my money. But there are only 3 copies of this will. Hathaway has one. I think he was able to get the other one from Clifford's safe. And then Lisa has the remaining copy. And basically he's like, hey, if I go and get that for you, all I want in exchange is to continue in my role as your family attorney and as the manager of this estate, because I make a lot of money doing that. And
right.
Dexter.
So now Hathaway's suddenly looking a bit more devious and forward. And it's also like, okay, so maybe this is why Lisa freaked out, because Lisa realizes like how strong there is she does have a quote unquote motive, and it could look bad for her if police dig into that.
Yep. So let's see here. Hathaway gets on the phone with Lisa and tells her that the police are going to come for her as the prime suspect, and that she should give him her copy of the will so that they don't find it and think that she has a motive. She agrees to do that. We cut to the lawyers at Lisa Chambers' apartment. It looks like it's been turned over a little bit. Something's happened here. The will is sitting on the table plain as day. Hathaway picks it up and then notices the balcony door is open and hears the sirens, or hears some sirens. He looks down over the railing and sees Lisa Chambers dead after apparently falling from her apartment to her death. He tries to run to the elevator, but an officer basically comes out and is waiting for him.
I do like the scene, like Hathaway being like, oh no, I have to get out of here. It sure is going to look like I murdered this person.
Yep. It's and then the cop finds him and he's like, shit, I'm going to have to admit to everything, basically. And say, yep, all right, here we go.
Right.
Okay, Columbo is let's see. Okay. So we cut to Columbo laying out the latest murder for Dexter, basically saying what happened with Lisa. Hathaway says that Dexter set him up. This is Columbo reporting that Hathaway in custody is saying that Dexter had him set up. Dexter is insistent that he didn't. Columbo has the agreement to retain Hathaway signed by Dexter and Norman. So that's the contract that they signed that said that Hathaway would continue to be the family's lawyer and business manager. And it's just signed by Dexter. And Dexter's like, yeah, this is normal stuff. But Columbo's like, yeah, but I thought you didn't talk to Norman. You guys both signed this though. And he's like, I just talked to Norman for the first time in 2 years today to talk about this agreement and about inheriting the money because we thought we were getting the money. We didn't know about the will. Dexter says he told Norman about the meeting between the lawyer and Lisa, so maybe Norman is the one that actually had Hathaway set up and actually went in there and killed Lisa. But when Columbo asks if Dexter believes Norman did it, Dexter says no. He thinks Lisa did it, and then she crossed the lawyer and he killed her. Something about this like sets Columbo off a little bit, and he realizes something, and he leaves Dexter quickly. I'll say at this moment, like I was like, oh, I think the twins are working together. This is, I think it kind of hit me in this moment. Yeah.
Right, it did, and we'll talk a bit about their methods, I think, when we get to the wrap up here. But maybe a little bit earlier, it's like, okay, they were trying because it's a little confusing because they're both directing Columbo to each other, and it's like, well,
Right.
why would they do that if they're working with each other? And I guess that's a question we'll tackle later. But at this point, it seems pretty clear that they are in cahoots in some way.
Cut to Columbo doing science experiments at Clifford's house. He's testing how long it would take someone to run downstairs from the bathroom to replace the fuse in the fuse box, because otherwise the power would not have come back on unless someone did that. He also makes Peck's TV go purple again while doing this. She's still not happy with him. So he later brings a TV repairman to fix Peck's TV. And Dexter and Norman are there discussing how they are going to split up Clifford's art. They're at the place at the same time. Columbo finds them and says, hey, I think I'm here to make an arrest. And they're like, you think? And I thought that was a pretty funny bit. He has Dexter and Norman follow him to Clifford's bathroom. First, he gets into the tub and asks Norman, hey, can you get me out of here? Which he can't do. It's kind of a recessed tub. It's down there in the ground. If you're standing on the side of it, it's really awkward to get another.
He's even all naked and wet.
Yeah, he would have been all naked and wet, and Columbo was not naked and wet, so it was easy mode, and he couldn't even do it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Man, one of these episodes, I hope. And then it does look like a two-man job. He then throws a mixer into the tub of water, which I thought was fucking insane. He's just gonna like actually throw and electrify the water again. I'm like, okay.
Like he didn't have to prove that point. We all understand what will happen.
Exactly. Yeah. It does cause the power to go out though, and it's like, you guys could have just pretended. But so they run to the basement, and he's like testing how long it takes, and it takes about a little bit over a minute. But now he's got everyone down there, and he's like, okay, now that we showed like it's hard to get a body out of this bathtub or get someone out of this bathtub, and now that we showed how long it takes to get down here, it's time for me to lay out what I think has happened. So Columbo lays out his case. He says whoever turned off the alarm had to already be in the house. Dexter looks at him and is like, oh, great. I guess that lets me off then. And Columbo goes, no, I don't think so. Not quite. Dexter says, no, Miss Peck, did you not see me drive away and honk and wave? I left here. You saw it all. There's no way I could be here. And Columbo says, no, she saw Norman, who was wearing the same clothes. Columbo called the phone company, which said that Dexter and Norman didn't just talk for the first time in 2 years to talk about that agreement. They've talked 20 times in the past 10 days. Clearly, they were talking about, hey, someone's getting married, and that's going to change things for us real fast. And there had to be someone else waiting in the basement to replace the fuse in the fuse box. It takes 67 seconds to get to the basement from the bathroom, but Mrs. Peck's TV was only off for 15 seconds. And somebody had to help him get out of the bathtub. And Peck then at this point is like, no, these boys wouldn't do that. And then Norman is like, oh, like he looked at the craps table, looks defeated, and says what's obvious is obvious, and Dexter screams at him to shut up, but it's too late.
Yeah,
the officers are going to arrest him, take away. Yep, it's
still good.
It's still good and good stuff. I'll say, there's things about it that I'm like, I don't know. Like they would have thought about the power going off as they electrocuted him. I guess maybe that's something that would have been predictable back then. Now it's like electricity is so stable. I guess it wouldn't occur to me that if I were to electrocute someone in my home, that the power would definitely go off, and I would need my twin to be in the basement to fix the fuse. But maybe he was just standing down there lying in wait. I guess that also makes sense. So beyond that, like small little like concern I would have about like, does that really work? Overall, I thought this was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Some of the questions I have, I mean, it's a bit of another kind of sloppy murder in terms of their motive is so concrete, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to mess around with so many things in that house in order to make it that, of course, they're gonna leave clues behind. And then, like, why were they immediately accusing each other? I'm like, were they trying to throw Columbo off? Was it a matter of, well, everything's good? He wasn't supposed to suspect anybody. Now it is. I'm gonna make sure it's my brother and not me. When clearly, if one of them's caught, they're gonna rat out the other one. It's like they're gonna go to jail by themselves. And then why would they kill Lisa? Which, it's very evil. I guess they're murderers already. But two, it seemed like the lawyer was kind of taking care of that anyways, except that I guess they saw it as an opportunity to frame the lawyer and they were hoping that would take all the heat off of them, I suppose. But even then it's like, geez, that's a lot to just murder this woman for. But so many other things this episode are excellent. The supporting cast is great. Martin Landau
Yeah.
is fantastic. The Mrs. Peck character and the interactions with Columbo are a lot of fun. The mystery here is fun. It's a trope, the twins murder thing, but it's a fun trope. We haven't seen Columbo do that yet, so I'm glad that we got to see that played out in a pretty well done way here.
Yeah, I just think it was there was a lot going on is all, where it's there are all those machinations of the twins kind of coming up with their plan on the fly, but because we're still supposed to be wondering like which twin did it, it feels a little distracted from like, oh, we could be having a lot of fun with like why they're making the choices they're making, and instead we're kind of one step removed from some of those thought processes being on the screen. So like we don't get the insights into exactly like why are they doing this? Does that make a lot of sense? But some of these killers are sloppy, and I don't usually come to Columbo for like the most perfect murder, though that was one of the episodes, right? But it is certainly the kind of thing where I just want it to be. I want Columbo to feel clever. I want Columbo to do stuff that like feels like, okay, he is figuring things out. And sometimes it might feel divine that he's like just happens to be in the bathroom and he finds the towel or whatever. That's fine. But I want like a couple of those leaps to look to be like just super impressive in terms of like, oh yeah, look at him connecting these dots. And I still got that from this episode for sure. So I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Any final thoughts from you before we get to our ranking of episodes?
No, let's say it's like I could keep being nitpicky. Like, boy, yeah. the clues that they left murdering the uncle. Imagine if you really dug into that apartment where they hastily like ran in there and pushed the lady off a balcony and then ran out at some point. Yeah, like, I'm like I'm supposed to believe that like they left nothing behind. There's no way to tie any of them to the scene there. Again, it's like some nitpicking stuff there. When you're just watching the episode, it is a really fun time.
Right, and it's like they did that and they like left the will, and it's like that is going to look like it frames Hathaway. But now there's a will that everyone knows about that says that she gets all the money. So I guess she's dead. So, but I mean,
I think she's dead now.
So I guess
maybe I guess that's why she really did have to die. Because, but I mean, they're gonna hide the will, so I don't know.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they seem both of the brothers. To be fair, the brothers seem like doofuses. Like they didn't like fully think through any of this. Yeah. So maybe that makes it a little more believable.
They're mean idiots, and that's a dangerous combination. Mean. If not rich, affluent, come from money, idiot, which is always a dangerous combination in these shows. Yeah, so there it is. There's our last episode of season 2. Is it time to be ranking things here?
Yeah. So the first thing we do is we rank our episodes. Mike,
do you have that doc, by the way?
I do. Yeah, I was going to just say, are you looking at this doc? Let me just share that with you real quick here in Discord. Christian,
they're not in that chat that I can't access if you don't mind.
Oh yeah,
can you put it on Booty Boys?
Yeah, Christian, I just put it in the chat here. Can you put it in Booty Boys for me so that I don't have to show the chat again in this video?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll read like kind of where we're at right now for our ranking of episodes. We have 13 episodes ranked. This will be our 14th. Dead Weight is 13th. Then it goes Short Fuse, Dagger of the Mind, Death Lends a Hand. The Greenhouse Jungle, The Most Dangerous Match is number 8. Number 7 is Blueprint for Murder. Number 6 is Lady in Waiting. Number 5, The Most Crucial Game with that incredible ice cream man scene. Number 4 is Etude in Black. Number 3 is Murder by the Book. Number 2, Suitable for Framing. And number 1, A Stitch in Crime. All right, Mike. I think I kind of know where I'm leaning for this one. It's definitely below the most dangerous match is where I'm at. And then it kind of could fall.
Yeah.
It could fall above Greenhouse Jungle, but it's like it's in that range for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting because, again, like, looking at Columbo File, which is, the best resource for this, and that guy reviews all the episodes. Like, this was, at this point, his number 2 favorite. And I think a lot of the Columbo fans, like, they love the high points of this one
Yes.
so much. That silly cooking scene, the Mrs. Beck interactions, and I agree. But there are just enough holes in it for me that it's not, yeah. And again, like, I think like a lot of people, like, they don't actually like Dangerous Match as much as you and I do. But I think I do like Dangerous Match actually a little bit more than this as well. I think this is better than Greenhouse Jungle, though.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, looking around, I'm like, I remember liking Death Lends a Hand, but I like Greenhouse Jungle better than that according to this list. So let's put it above Greenhouse Jungle. I think this is a good episode. I think anything kind of in this range is kind of great, and I still think this one is great because of those high moments. Because you could tell Martin Landau and Peter Falk are having a lot of fun. All that stuff comes through and kind of like patches up any of those holes that we did notice. But I was definitely like, I like to care about the murder and the plot a lot, and here that kind of came up a little bit short for me. All right, so we'll throw that in there at number 8. Let me do that real quick. All right, and then we got our Hall of Fame, our Season 2 Killer Hall of Fame. We can finalize that with this episode, Mike.
Yes, we can do that. We had a few in season 1 here that made it the end.
Yeah, so season 1 was finalized with Dale Kingston from Suitable for Framing, Ken Franklin from Murder by the Book, and Beth Chadwick from Lady in Waiting. For season 2, our current Hall of Fame of killers is Paul Hanlon from The Most Crucial Game. That's the ice cream one. This is not numbered. Dr. Barry Mayfield from A Stitch in Crime, Spock, and then currently Emmett Clayton, the chess player from The Most Dangerous Match. So if we wanted to put Martin Landau up on the Hall of Fame for season 2, we will have to remove one of those 3.
Ooh, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I like Martin Landau.
I like it a lot.
He did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very bad murderer. Both of them.
I would say, like, he would be, for me, I'm not getting rid of Paul Hanlon or Dr. Barry Mayfield. Like, obviously not Dr. Barry Mayfield. Like, that's clearly staying on here.
Right. So it would be the chess player. And I don't know if I'm getting rid of Emmett Clayton, the chess player.
I don't think so either, Mike. I really liked him as a murderer. I thought that his whole plot, got, like, of course it blew up in his face, that it always does. I don't know. I was just so engaged the whole time, and he's one of those affluent. They're all affluent killers, but he's one where he's just like his position is being threatened, and you can just see why he does the things he does. I think we're keeping Emmett, and that means that Martin Landau as Dexter is not going to make our Hall of Fame for season 2, and that's okay. Still in a very good episode. So that means our finalized season 2 Hall of Fame of killers: Paul Hanlon from The Most Crucial Game, Dr. Barry Mayfield from A Stitch in Crime, and Emmett Clayton from The Most Dangerous Match. All right,
fantastic.
All right, Columbro, I think that's gonna do it.
That does it for season 2, which means next time we are on to season 3, with the first episode of that one being Lovely But Lethal. It's going to involve the beauty industry. Yeah, that's always fun. It's like, what kind of business?
Yeah.
Like little gimmicky things. Well, this time
it's always got to be has to relate to Los Angeles to some degree usually. So yeah, just some sort of glamour and what the seedy underbelly of Los Angeles's various industries. It's fun to dive into.
Right. And Mark, there's some fun guests in the next one, including Vincent Price.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Martin Sheen.
Really?
Yes, Martin Sheen is in this next episode of Columbo.
Babyface Martin Sheen. Already saw the episode. It's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, I got to see how young he's going to be. Okay, that's exciting. All right, cool. So we're going to continue our Columbro into the future. For now, though, thank you so much, Columbro.
Thank you, Columbro.
Until next time, have a good one, everybody. Bye.